Good evening, Dungeon Masters, I'm Baron Derop. There's a problem with feats in Dungeons & Dragons, but it doesn't just stop there. Power creep caused from feats, class features, and even racial bonuses can inadvertently limit a character's effectiveness. Even since 3rd edition, feats have been a grab bag of abilities designed to refine the apparent advantages of a specific character build. However, when one contrasts these feats with class or racial features, it becomes apparent that they're really no different than each other, except that feats are optional and most class features aren't. Even so, it seldom makes sense to acquire specific feats without a predefined character build. Therefore, when viewed as a whole, these earned feats, spells, warlock packs, or even the ability to turn undead are all really just doing one thing: increasing the scale of a character's power level. But which of these are actually successful in doing that? There are two kinds of power scaling in Dungeons & Dragons: vertical and horizontal. Vertical scaling occurs when a character's build becomes more refined and more potent in a specific situation. Things that improve a character's ability scores, skill bonuses, or even situationally influence dice mechanics, like granting advantage while sneaking, are all instances of vertical scaling. As an example, the Sentinel feat grants polearm users extra attacks in specific situations. While this might seem unique at first, critical thinking reveals that the Sentinel feat is little more than a situation-triggered action surge. Similarly, more blanketed power-ups, like Lucky for example, influence dice rolls to eschew critical failures and make the game world 5% less deadly. But all of these bonuses lead to a massive problem. It counterintuitively makes characters weaker. Traps and enemies the Dungeon Master throws at the party become tougher to match the character's vertically scaling power advancement. But this advancement happens while each character's non-relevant abilities remain fixed at their starting position. Thus, as a character gains levels and the threats they face become more intense, the character's exposed weaknesses become more pronounced. Imagine, for example, a first-level rogue and a wolf engaged in combat. The wolf bites the thief, who has a 50% chance of resisting the wolf's trip. Compare this situation, however, to a 5th level rogue and a dire wolf. That leveled up character, stacked up with various feats and abilities to help them excel at their sneak thief role, now only has a 40% chance, not 50%, of avoiding the dire wolf's trip. So this begs the question: has the wolf gotten better at tripping, or did the rogue get worse at avoiding it? Not all earned abilities affect gameplay in this negative way, however. In contrast, horizontal scaling is when a character gains a new ability or power which doesn't synergize well with their other abilities. The two best examples of this phenomenon in 5e are the character background features and powers subsumed from wondrous magic items. These gained abilities typically have very little overlap with any given class feature and are hard to create repeatable game plans to exploit their use. To illustrate, have you ever awarded characters with a creature summoning magic item only for the party to discuss if the druid should have it, since creature summoning is the druid's wheelhouse, or if the fighter should have it, since creature summoning is not their wheelhouse? Who can use it, how, and why isn't very predictable. In contrast, notice how characters with the Sentinel feat always try to plug choke points in combat. Their combat tactics become extremely predictable. This know your role predictability can't be done, however, with character backgrounds like Acolyte or the ability to conjure a boat with a feather token. Give the players a swan boat wondrous item in the middle of the desert and they'll scratch their heads. But 2 sessions later, when they're stuck in a sandy dungeon, they summon the boat, flip it upside down, and use it as shield to protect them from flame traps, blasting them from overhead. Moreover, the Acolyte player might be on the run from a corrupt government, only to bump into a small shrine to their god and meet the old man who maintains it. This on-character sheet religious relationship can earn the players a hidden place to rest through the night and bellies full of warm food. In either case, the attributes gained from the backgrounds or magic items don't overlap with the ability score bonuses or dice mechanics, which inadvertently narrow the situations where a character is most effective. Quite the opposite, these abilities give players more breadth to connect themselves to the game world, all while eliminating the need to keep track of dice roll bonuses and situational reasons to roll with advantage. Finally, what's most fun about these horizontally scaling abilities is that they're very easy to homebrew on the fly while helping players develop a deep connection to the game world. A player who misses a few game sessions, but whose character in fiction was dropped off at a wizard's college during that player's absence, might be justified when they level up in earning a homebrewed feat which demonstrates their time spent at that college. Perhaps they made friends or developed a fraternal connection with the researchers there, learned to cast a single first level spell once per day, or even learn to refine some strange alchemical ingredients which might be uniquely important to the game's narrative later on. In essence, a vertical style bonus in games whose toughness scales to match that verticality inadvertently makes character weaknesses more pronounced while constraining the situations where they're most effective. However, horizontally scaling feats, quirks, or connections to the game world always makes a character more versatile without making them inadvertently weaker. Thanks for watching, Dungeon Masters, and until next time, good night.